The experiment begins. In the vastness of space, aboard the research vessel Curiosity's Folly, a peculiar atmosphere enveloped the crew. This was not just any mission. It was an expedition into the unknown realms of xenobiology, where they sought to unravel the mysteries of life forms from distant planets. Chief xenobiologist Zix Neroth, a being of immense intellect with a penchant for sarcasm, recorded his thoughts in a log entry that would echo through time. Log entry 28,745. He began, his tentacles tapping rhythmically against the console. Today marks yet another glorious cycle aboard this flying tin can we call a research vessel. If you're reading this in some far-off future, let it be known that I have officially lost what remains of my sanity. Zix's eyes darted over the control panel as he recalled their latest subject, an unassuming human female who had been dubbed Subject X for convenience. Humans, he mused aloud, those bipedal meat sacks from the backwater planet called Earth. He couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of it all. Humans were known for their resilience, but what did that truly mean? The day had begun with a simple yet audacious plan to test the limits of human endurance against omega radiation, a form of energy so potent it could reduce any known life form to mere atoms. Zix had watched in disbelief as Dr. Quick Slop, their lead physicist, calculated the exact dosage required with all the precision of a drunken spacefarer attempting to balance on a tightrope. Initiating omega radiation sequence, announced Blur, their technician whose name was as unfortunate as his clumsiness. As Subject X stepped into the sleek chamber designed for this experiment, Zix noted her demeanor, calm and collected, as if she were merely waiting for a lift rather than facing potential annihilation. "This is impossible," Zix muttered under his breath as he observed through the observation window. With a dramatic hiss, the chamber sealed shut around her. The lights dimmed momentarily before flooding with an eerie glow that pulsed in rhythm with the machinery's hum. Outside, Zix and his team held their breath, an odd mixture of anticipation and dread filling the air. Minutes ticked by slowly, each second stretching like an eternity as radiation levels climbed beyond what any rational being should withstand. Yet there stood Subject X, unfazed and seemingly unaffected by the lethal exposure surrounding her. "What is happening?" Dr. Quick Slop exclaimed, his multiple eyes wide with disbelief. "She should be dead." Zix felt a knot tighten in his stomach as he glanced at Blurp's readings. They were accurate beyond doubt. "Perhaps the sensors are malfunctioning," Blurp suggested hesitantly. "No, they're functioning perfectly." Zix snapped back, frustration bubbling beneath his calm exterior. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the predetermined limit of exposure. With another hiss, they opened the chamber door to reveal Subject X stepping out casually, as if she had just enjoyed a day at a spa rather than enduring an experiment designed for destruction. "That was neat," she said nonchalantly while stretching her arms above her head. "Kind of tamely. Do you guys have any snacks?" "I'm starving." The silence that followed was deafening. Zix could almost hear his own heart pounding in disbelief. Had they truly just witnessed a human emerge unscathed from an experiment meant to obliterate them? It was absurd. He felt like he was losing his grip on reality. As murmurs erupted among the crew members regarding what they had just witnessed, Zix contemplated their next steps. They had entered uncharted territory, one where human biology defied all known laws of physics and biology. "Prepare for further tests," he commanded finally, determination creeping back into his voice despite lingering confusion. Over subsequent cycles aboard Curiosity's Folly, Subject X became a focal point of fascination and bewilderment for Zix and his team. They subjected her to every conceivable test imaginable, exposing her to vacuum conditions that would crush most life forms or plunging her into simulated gas giants where pressures reached unimaginable levels. Yet every time she emerged unscathed or even invigorated by these experiences, Zix found himself grappling with an unsettling realization about humanity's resilience, a resilience that seemed less about physical strength and more about sheer stubbornness mixed with an uncanny ability to survive against all odds. As he recorded another log entry detailing these findings, his mind racing with theories ranging from adaptive shielding to sheer luck, he couldn't shake off a growing sense of intrigue, mixed with dread, regarding what this meant for their understanding of life itself. End log entry, he concluded with a sigh, feeling both exhilarated and exhausted by what lay ahead. Little did they know that this was only the beginning. What awaited them in this cosmic journey would challenge everything they thought they knew about resilience, and perhaps even about themselves as beings navigating through an ever-expanding universe filled with mysteries beyond comprehension. The aftermath. As the door to the test chamber hissed open, the crew of the Curiosity's Folly stood in stunned silence, grappling with the reality of what they had just witnessed. Subject X, now affectionately dubbed Luna, strolled out with an air of nonchalance that seemed utterly incongruous with the chaos that had just unfolded. Reactions of the crew. Dr. Quickslop was the first to break the silence, his multiple eyes wide with disbelief. "This is impossible," he exclaimed, his tentacles flailing in agitation. "She should be dead. We calculated everything meticulously." Zix Neroth, the chief cynobiologist, rubbed his temples, trying to stave off a headache that threatened to bloom from sheer frustration. "You may have calculated it, but clearly we underestimated her," he replied dryly. The crew began to murmur among themselves, their voices a mix of awe and confusion. Luna, meanwhile, had settled into a casual demeanor, as if she had just returned from a leisurely stroll rather than a near-death experience. "So, what's for dinner?" she asked cheerfully, oblivious to the turmoil around her. The first tests. In the days that followed, Zix and his team embarked on a series of follow-up tests designed to uncover the secrets behind Luna's remarkable resilience. They subjected her to conditions that would obliterate most life forms: extreme temperatures, vacuum environments, and even exposure to various toxic substances. Each time, Luna emerged unscathed, often with a grin on her face. "Maybe we should try something more extreme," suggested Blurb, their technician known for his reckless enthusiasm. "How about we see how she handles being shot out of a cannon?" Zix shot him a disapproving glare. "We are not turning this into a circus act," he replied firmly. Yet deep down, he couldn't shake off the nagging curiosity about what made humans so resilient. A growing fascination. As Luna continued to defy logic and science, her presence began to transform the atmosphere aboard the Curiosity's Folly. What had once been a sterile environment, filled with serious research, now felt more like an experimental playground. Crew members found themselves drawn into her orbit, intrigued by her carefree spirit and unfathomable luck. One afternoon, while Zix was reviewing data from their latest experiment in his cramped quarters, he heard laughter echoing down the corridor. Curiosity piqued. He ventured out to find Luna leading an impromptu game of zero-gravity tag in the engineering bay. The sight was both absurd and heartwarming. Crew members bouncing off walls and each other, while Luna darted around like a comet. "Luna," Zix called out, trying to maintain an air of authority. "This is not appropriate behavior for a research vessel." She paused mid-laugh and turned to him with wide eyes. "But it's fun. You should join us." Zix sighed but couldn't help but crack a smile at her infectious enthusiasm. "Fine. Just keep it contained. We have work to do." The discovery of human resilience. As they continued their experiments and interactions with Luna, Zix began to piece together a theory about human resilience, one that went beyond mere physical endurance. It seemed that Luna thrived on challenges and danger. Every test they conducted only fueled her spirit further. During one particularly grueling session, in which they exposed her to intense radiation, while monitoring her vitals closely, Luna casually mentioned something that left Zix momentarily speechless. "You know," she said between readings of various data points on her wrist device, "I once tried bungee jumping off a cliff without checking my harness first." Zix blinked in disbelief. "You did what?" Yeah, it was exhilarating. I thought I was going to die, but ended up loving it. She laughed as if recounting a fond memory rather than an act of sheer madness. Zix felt his heart race, not from fear for her safety, but from realizing that this was not just luck. It was something deeper rooted in human nature itself. They were not merely surviving, they were embracing life's unpredictability. The shift in dynamics. With each passing cycle aboard Curiosity's Folly, Luna became more than just a subject. She transformed into an integral part of their crew dynamic. The scientists who had once viewed her as an experiment now regarded her as a friend, a source of inspiration amid their sterile surroundings. Dr. Quickslop even went so far as to invite her into discussions about their findings during team meetings. Perhaps we should consider human psychology in our studies, he suggested one day while reviewing data charts with Zix. Luna perked up at this idea. You mean like how humans deal with fear? We're really good at pushing through it. Zix nodded thoughtfully. Exactly. Your ability to confront danger head-on may be just as important as your physical resilience. A new challenge arises. However, not everyone aboard was pleased with this shift in dynamics. Their security officer, a paranoid being named Grak, began voicing concerns about having such an unpredictable element among them. What if she turns against us? Grak warned one day during lunch in the common area. Humans are known for their unpredictability. Zix dismissed him with a wave of his hand, but couldn't help but feel a twinge of unease at Grak's words. As much as he admired Luna's spirit and resilience, there remained an underlying tension between their species, a reminder that trust was hard-earned and easily lost. Conclusion: a journey ahead. As they prepared for another round of tests designed to push Luna's limits even further, Zix found himself reflecting on what this journey meant for them all. They were not just studying an alien species, they were learning about themselves, about fear, courage, and the unpredictable nature of life itself. With renewed determination and curiosity fueling their mission aboard Curiosity's Folly, Zix looked forward to what lay ahead. New discoveries waiting just beyond the stars, and perhaps even deeper insights into humanity's place in the galaxy. And so began another chapter in their extraordinary journey, a journey defined by resilience against all odds and an unwavering belief that sometimes the most incredible discoveries come from embracing chaos rather than fearing it. Unraveling human resilience. The atmosphere aboard the Curiosity's Folly had shifted dramatically. What had once been a sterile environment, filled with scientific rigor, was now infused with an air of excitement and unpredictability, all thanks to Luna. The crew, initially skeptical of their human subject, had begun to embrace her vibrant spirit. As Luna continued to defy the odds, Zix Neroth found himself grappling with the implications of her resilience. The science of survival. Days turned into weeks as the team conducted test after test, each one designed to probe the limits of Luna's endurance. They subjected her to extreme conditions, high radiation levels, vacuum environments, and even simulated gravitational forces that would crush most beings. Yet each time she emerged unscathed, often with a smile and a quip that left the crew both baffled and amused. Zix began to take detailed notes on her responses during these tests. You know, Luna remarked one day while floating in the zero-gravity chamber, this reminds me of the time I went skydiving without checking my parachute. Zix raised an eyebrow. You did what? Oh yeah, it was a total rush. I landed in a tree and just walked away with a few scratches. She laughed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. It was in moments like these that Zix realized human resilience was not merely about physical endurance. It was also about a mindset, a willingness to embrace risk and uncertainty. The crew started to discuss this phenomenon among themselves, pondering how such an outlook could lead to survival against all odds. Shifting perspectives. As their understanding deepened, Zix noticed a change in the crew's dynamics. Dr. Quickslop, who had initially viewed Luna as nothing more than a test subject, began to treat her as an equal. He often engaged her in discussions about human culture and psychology, fascinated by her anecdotes of daring adventures. Humans seem to thrive on chaos, he mused during one meeting. Perhaps it's not just luck. Maybe it's an evolutionary trait. Luna nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. We're wired to adapt and overcome. It's like our brains are programmed for survival. Zix found himself captivated by this idea. Could it be that humans had developed a unique resilience that allowed them to face danger head-on? He began to hypothesize that this trait could be linked to their history, one filled with challenges that shaped their very existence. A new experiment. Inspired by these discussions, Zix proposed a new experiment, a psychological challenge designed to test Luna's mental resilience alongside her physical capabilities. The crew rallied behind the idea, eager to see how far Luna could push herself. Let's create scenarios that simulate high-stress situations, Zix suggested. We can monitor her responses and analyze how she copes. The team quickly set up various simulations, from navigating through dark mazes filled with obstacles to timed challenges that required quick thinking under pressure. Luna approached each task with an infectious enthusiasm that made even the most mundane exercises feel exhilarating. During one simulation, she found herself trapped in a maze filled with holographic barriers that shifted unpredictably. Instead of panicking, she laughed and shouted, "This is just like my last escape room challenge." Zix watched in awe as she navigated the maze with ease, her laughter echoing through the chamber. It was clear that Luna thrived on challenges. They fueled her spirit rather than deterred her. Discovering patterns. As they collected data from these experiments, patterns began to emerge. Zix noted how Luna's heart rate remained steady even in stressful situations, an anomaly compared to other species they had tested before. Her ability to maintain composure under pressure seemed almost supernatural. Maybe it's not just luck after all, Dr. Quickslop remarked one day while analyzing the data. There's something deeper at play here. Zix nodded thoughtfully. Perhaps humans have developed coping mechanisms that allow them to thrive in chaos. It's as if they've learned to embrace uncertainty. The crew became increasingly fascinated by this idea, discussing how human history, marked by wars, natural disasters, and societal upheavals, might have shaped their resilience over generations. An unexpected visitor. Just as they were delving deeper into their exploration of human resilience, an unexpected visitor arrived aboard the Curiosity's Folly. An alien diplomat named Varnock had come from a nearby system, intrigued by reports of Luna's extraordinary abilities. Varnock was a tall being with iridescent skin that shimmered under the ship's lights. His presence commanded attention as he entered the research bay where Luna was conducting another experiment. "Greetings," he said in a melodic voice. "I have heard tales of your remarkable human subject." Luna grinned widely at him. "Nice to meet you. I'm Luna. So what do you think? Pretty cool, right?" Varnock tilted his head curiously as he observed her interactions with the crew. "Your resilience is indeed fascinating," he replied thoughtfully. "But tell me, do you not fear death?" Luna shrugged casually. "Not really. Life is full of risks. If you don't take chances, what's the point?" Zix watched as Varnock considered her words carefully. The alien diplomat seemed both intrigued and perplexed by Luna's carefree attitude toward danger, a stark contrast to his own species' more cautious approach. A cultural exchange. Over the next few cycles, Varnock engaged with Luna and the crew in discussions about their respective cultures and philosophies regarding life and death. The conversations revealed stark differences between humans and Varnock's species, who valued caution and meticulous planning above all else. "Your willingness to embrace chaos is both admirable and alarming," Varnock admitted during one discussion over dinner. Luna chuckled lightly. "Life is unpredictable. You can't plan everything. Sometimes you just have to jump into the unknown." Zix noted how these exchanges sparked curiosity among the crew members. They began questioning their own perspectives on risk-taking and resilience. Conclusion: a journey of understanding. As days turned into weeks aboard Curiosity's Folly, Zix found himself reflecting on what it meant to be resilient, not just for humans, but for all species navigating the complexities of existence in an unpredictable universe. With each passing cycle, they were uncovering not only the secrets behind human endurance, but also valuable lessons about embracing uncertainty, a lesson that transcended species boundaries. As they prepared for another round of tests designed to push both Luna's limits and their understanding further, Zix felt a renewed sense of purpose guiding them all forward, a journey defined by curiosity and discovery amidst chaos. In this ever-expanding universe filled with mysteries waiting to be unraveled, one thing became abundantly clear. Sometimes it takes a fearless spirit like Luna's to remind them that true resilience lies not only in surviving, but also in thriving against all odds, and perhaps even finding joy along the way.